All right, 8:45 here on this Thursday morning, and this is one true statement if you've ever known it, and we as South Africans know it. If there is one thing that can unify humanity and make people cooperate on something, it is sports. To showcase the art of sport diplomacy, the French embassy in Pretoria has decided to host events to highlight this. All this, of course, while the French national team is in South Africa for a rugby tour. Joining me in studio is the French ambassador himself, Christophe Farnaud, and he is going to talk to us a little bit more about this visit. Good to have you in studio. Thank you for visiting.
Thank you for inviting me. Good morning.
So we've got this French diplomacy. I mean, South Africans sometimes feel like we're the only country in the world that sports unites us, but it's not. It happens everywhere.
Exactly, and we are very proud to have now two French rugby teams, in fact, in town. The national team, as you mentioned, and the French Barbarians. Right. And so both of them have been in the country for now 2 weeks or so, and for a series of matches, test matches for the French national team, and matches with the South African A team for the Barbarians.
Yeah.
And we have great time together.
I'm sure it's been absolutely amazing for them, but just in terms of the issue of sports diplomacy, how are you trying to sort of bring it into the diplomatic sphere?
You know, this is a key element, I think, today, because diplomacy cannot just be relations among officials and phone calls or meetings of leaders. We have to have people taking part. We have to have people-to-people initiatives. And, as you mentioned, sports nowadays is key for societies. And so beyond competition, beyond the excitement of the matches, which we all share, there must be also these events where you can meet with people, where you can have this team spirit, which is not just team spirit for the team itself, which can be a model for us, but which brings people together. And that's what we've been doing, for instance, when we have these, what we call these coaching clinics with the young guys, the children from the townships. We did it both in Durban, we did it yesterday in Soweto,
yeah.
And you know, it was not just the French embassy or just the teams, it was the French and the South African teams, and it was NGOs, and it was of course the Sharks and the Lions, and so altogether I think we did a good job, and I hope the kids enjoyed it.
I'm sure they did. It must have been such a privilege for them to have such world-renowned players working with them.
Yes.
What made you do this? I mean, why particularly during this tour did this idea and event come around?
Once again, I think that it's good when you have champions in town to take the better of it in all fields. You know, it's not just about winning or losing the matches, which counts, by the way.
Of course it does.
and I must say that the Springboks have played quite well so far.
They really have. Thank you. I'm glad you admitted that.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you.
But there's also a lot more to do about it. You know, there is once again this kind of sharing values through exercises, which brings positive energy, and which also brings these values of self-discipline, of effort, of building something together. And I think that rugby especially brings this kind of values, and I think that for the children who live either in Soweto or Umlazi or elsewhere, by the way, it's a good time just to have good memories for the future, but even to be able to start and build something together with the players.
Absolutely.
And we have all of us have been children,
yeah.
And so we know how important it is to have these special moments.
In those moments that can actually change the course of your life, and that's a fact. You have a moment that you say, wow, this is it, I want to be this, and you actually sometimes find people who go on to do that.
Exactly, and so I'm very proud and honored that France can take part in these efforts. You know, that's a special moment for France and South Africa.
Yeah.
And once again, it's not just about political high-level exchanges. It's day-to-day life. It's bringing people together, and that's diplomacy in the 21st century as well, I think.
Is the program ongoing? Is it finished now, or there's still a few more events?
This part is finished because now we're getting very close to the matches, and of course the teams have to focus on the matches.
Okay.
But it has been something important, I think, for their stay, and of course I've had the opportunity to speak to the coaches and to the players, and all of them have enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah,
a lot.
I'm sure they have. Let's very quickly talk about France's ambitions when it comes to sport, because we do know that there's a bid to host the Olympic Games in France.
Absolutely.
How is that going?
As you know, the decision will be taken in September.
Yeah.
And so we still have two cities in competition, Paris, and we, of course, think that we have all the assets to win, but there's also Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And so we have to be cautious about that, but I think that everything in France has been done to show that we have the infrastructures, we have this collective mobilization, we have once again all that goes with sports, and which is not just competition, you know, building sustainable growth, building social development, once again having people from all around the world being able to come to France. So I have to be optimistic, and I am optimistic.
Absolutely, and especially with what's been happening in France of late, and the new president, Emmanuel Macron, over a month in office now. Is he doing good?
Yes, of course.
Looks like it.
Yes, exactly. And I'm amazed and very pleasantly surprised by the huge enthusiasm worldwide around it.
It's amazing. It really has been. We'll have to talk more about that at another time, but thank you for joining us.
No, my pleasure,
and,
really.
Really, it's been great hearing about with the French national team that are here in South Africa. Of course, you know, you've been watching them playing in the rugby. They're going to be picking up that again. But while they've had some free time, they've been out and about holding programs with so many different areas within sports, and just going into different townships and playing with the youngsters. I think it's been great. French Ambassador Christophe Farnaud talking to us about their sport diplomacy events for the French rugby team. Let's take a break. It's Sharp Sharp after this.